Is sumo effective in a street fight? Sumo wrestling is a style of Japanese wrestling in which weight, size, and strength are of the greatest importance, though speed and suddenness of attack are also useful. The object of the sport today is to propel the opponent out of a ring about 15 feet, 4.55 meters in diameter, or to force him to touch the ground with any part of his body other than the soles of his feet. But this has not always been the case. It's difficult to believe that this Japanese martial art was once so vicious that it led to the death of some. But would it be effective in a street fight today? In this video, we will try and answer that question and take a look into the history of sumo and some of those wrestlers that lost their lives. But before we do this, remember to give us a thumbs up and a quick click on our subscribe button to get more videos like this one and support Brutal TV. Thanks! But for now, let's go back to sumo. At first glance, sumo is nothing if not bizarre. Overweight men dressed in an enormous thong, pushing each other inside a small ring where the pre-ceremony is usually longer than the actual fight. However, delve a little deeper and you will find a unique and technical sport with a rich history and wrestlers whose rigorous training regime and dedication cannot fail to impress. The Nihon Shoki, published in 720, dates the first sumo match between mortals to the year 23 BC, when a man named Nomi no Sukuni fought against Taima no Kyuaha at the request of Emperor Suinin and eventually killed him, making him the mythological ancestor of sumo. According to the Nihon Shoki, Nomi broke a rib of Taima with one kick and killed him with a kick to the back as well. Until the Japanese Middle Ages, this unregulated form of wrestling was often fought to the death of one of the fighters. These days, sumo has become far more regulated, with illegal moves being strangulation, hair pulling, bending fingers, gripping the crotch area, kicking, poking eyes, punching simultaneously striking both the opponent's ears. Sumo must be unique in that the pre-match ceremony and pageantry can be just as fascinating as the bout itself. The day before each major tournament, the doyo, the 4.55 meter diameter clay platform housing the ring in which the bout takes place, is cleansed to pray for the safety of the wrestlers, also known as rikishi. This involves placing salt, cleansed rice, dried chestnut, dried kelp, dried cuttlefish, and nutmeg berry in a small hole made in the middle of the ring as offerings to the gods. They enter the ring and perform a ritual called shiko, the leg raising and stomping that is probably the act most commonly associated with the sport outside of Japan. This is more than just warming up. The clapping of hands is to attract the attention of the gods. The raising of arms to the sky is to show they carry no weapons, and the famous legs raising and stomping to crush any lingering evil spirits. They then leave the ring and take a handful of water and swill it in their mouth, and before entering the ring again, they throw more salt over it once more to cleanse it. Officially, there are 82 techniques by which a rikishi can win a match. There are no weight classes, and it's not just about size. Agility can be equally important, and the smaller rikishi have the advantage that they can step aside and slip in behind their larger opponent and use his considerable momentum against him. We're now at the halfway mark, so just a reminder to like this video and subscribe to Brutal TV for more top quality fighting videos. Now back to the sumo wrestlers. For many of us, sumo wrestling is a shoving match between two enormous men in diapers and top buns. They are considered athletes, sure, but their only job is to be fat and to slam into each other. Yes, they are burlier than an NFL linebacker. But top sumo wrestlers also have the speed off the block of a sprinter, the flexibility of a yoga instructor, and the mental stamina of a Trappist monk. Professional sumo does not have weight classes, meaning a 600-pound wrestler can face off against someone 200 pounds. Still, it is not enough to be the heaviest guy in the ring. To train for sumo, the wrestlers start at dawn on an empty stomach with an hour of side stomps or shiko. Wrestlers squat, lift one leg to the side as high as they can, and stomp down 150 to 300 times. They train full splits as well as proper tumbling technique. They have to be able to twist and move in a small space. After that comes calisthenics and speed work to build explosive power and technique drills. The heart of the workouts is sparring. It is done in silence, apart from the grunting and the slapping sound of flesh on flesh. Finally comes butsukari. This is similar to training with a blocking sled in American football. One wrestler stands tall while another slams into him, pushing to the edge of the ring. This is done to exhaustion. Sumo has the most severe form of training of any martial art. All that burns a lot of calories, which gets replaced by a traditional meal of sumo stew called chankonabe. It is made in gigantic quantities, and every component is athletic fuel. The pro athletes eat several bowls of chanko, along with a ton of rice and beer. A long nap follows, then additional training and team meetings. Cap the day off with more chanko and rice, then it is time for bed. So although they eat up to 7,000 calories a day and weigh 300 to 400 pounds, or 2 to 3 times as much as the average adult, they are in fact very healthy. But would sumo be effective in a street fight? Well, we think it's safe to say that if you came face to face with one of the big guys of sumo, it would be pretty intimidating to start off with. If you look at the techniques that this martial art has, we can't help but think of the damages the sumo wrestler can do. It's not all about grappling, it is also about striking. It has striking techniques that are rarely used by other martial artists, which can be put to good use in a street fight. There is also muscle mass to take into consideration. With the amount of training these guys do, and their so-called fat consisting of a huge amount of muscle, when punched or slapped, this could most probably cause quite a bit of damage to a fighter's hand. They are also trained for speed, so as to get the advantage on their opponent. Like all techniques of fighting, there are pros and cons to sumo. But when it comes to street fights, it has a fair chance of being successful. Although if you combine another martial art with sumo, it would make your success rate even higher. What do you think of sumo? Is it effective? Have you ever practiced the style? Tell us in the comments below. And don't forget to like and subscribe to Brutal TV for more top fighting videos just like this one. Thanks for watching.